Ted, now I know for a fact you've been waiting with bated breath for months and months and months to hear something going on with this, and finally we've got some news. Ted DiBiase Jr. fraud trial hearing. Apparently, he's facing up to 45 years for this fraud case.
Ooh. Well, what was the guy we just talked about that was in prison because he was mentally deficient? What was his name?
Billy Jack Haynes, yeah.
Billy Jack Haynes may get a cot ready for you, buddy. That's what I'm going to say. He cannot do, and this is the wrong time in history in the United States to be found even leaning toward being crooked. As we just come off the Biden years and all this other stuff with this congressman and this. But I think he's looking at 45 years. I don't think he'll get 45. I think he's guilty, though. But I think he'll get 10, and maybe he might get 15 with 5 cut off. But I think he'll do 10 years. I really do. Because how's he going to get out of this stuff? Well, if he did it, he did it.
Well, I'm going to give you some PW Insider. Mike Johnson wrote about this, so I'm going to give you some quotes from that report. A hearing was held earlier this week before the Mississippi Southern District Court regarding the criminal case for former WWE star Ted DiBiase Jr. DiBiase is still slated to stand trial on August 26th at 9 a.m., jury selection a week before. All experts for the trial must be filed, blah, blah. Anyway, DiBiase Jr. was arrested in April 2023 on one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds. So for people who don't know, essentially Ted, his brother Brett, which for some reason I don't think Brett's his real name, and even Ted DiBiase Sr. was brought into this at one point, but no files have been charged against him, I don't think, at this point. Essentially misappropriating funds that were meant for charitable causes.
Yes.
So that sounds about right. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. The government had filed a previous motion stating the discovery in this case is extensive and additional time is needed by both sides to review the case, etc. If convicted, the third-generation pro wrestling star faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison for the conspiracy count, a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each wire fraud count, and a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison for each count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds and for each count of money laundering. DiBiase is facing a maximum of 5 years imprisonment on the one count of conspiracy and up to a $250,000 fine. More $250,000 fines and everything else that I've just basically repeated, so that's a potential 45 years. I've got more to read here, if so, but I mean, you hear all that. I mean,
it's too much.
What was it claimed that he bought? Like a boat? At one point, I think it was alleged.
He bought a house.
Yeah, bought a house.
I think that's what he bought. So how do you say, wait a minute, I bought this house, I need to hide it? How are you going to hide a house? How are you going to hide all the records for that? I think he's pleaded guilty to it, hasn't he?
No, it's going to trial.
Well, I don't think this is any time in the history of United States politics that this is going to get him out of it. I don't care who he is, and I wish him luck. But when you do something like that, you got to think. Well, you got to think a bit. At least if you get caught, how you going to get out of it? And I don't think he put much thought into that. So I still think he'll end up with about. They will put all those charges together. I think he'll be convicted on most of them because I don't know. I really haven't even. Those are serious charges, and it's with money and it's taxpayer money. And now since they got this thing going on in the U.S., it's called Doge, where they're going through everything and throwing out all the corruption and all the stuff. They don't know where the money was going to. Bad time to get busted like this in a state like Mississippi.
Yeah, so this is federal funds as well, so therefore it's got to be a federal case.
Yes, it is.
And I think you told me this, like the federal government, more than a regular trial, has got a very high closure rate with these kinds of cases.
Well,
right?
The thing with a federal charge, I read, I don't know if I'm correct on this. Say you get 10 years. Now, if you get 10 years on a state charge, you can get out on parole after a third of it is served on time spent in and you're on probation. If you get 10 years on a federal charge, you will spend more than 8.5 years in prison before you get out. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've heard. But Mr. DiBiase, good luck to you, sir.
DiBiase Jr. previously pled not guilty to all charges before the Mississippi Southern District Court and was released on an unsecured $10,000 bond. He was told he must advise the court before making any changes of residence, etc. When asked for comment leaving the courtroom by WAPT TV, DiBiase remarked, "Jesus loves you, brother. God bless you, man." That's it.
Who said that?
Junior said that as he was leaving the court.
Oh, yeah. I hope Jesus loves him. when he's sitting there, because they got these federal prisons all over the place, and you go in there, you're not breaking out. They just had 10 inmates break out of the New Orleans jail.
Yeah, you know what really annoyed me is that they spelt two because it was like too easy, lol, but they spelled it T-O, not T-O-O.
Yeah.
You dumbasses.
Idiots. Complete idiots.
Yeah, but apparently they had they had someone complicit on the inside. Was the rumor? Was the idea?
That's what they're saying, and that's what it looks like to me, because those are people for murder charges. You don't put them. I saw a clip last night. A guy from the prison said, "You don't put guys charged with murder on the first floor. They're always on the second or third floor." And I guess that's a security device or that they use to keep those breakouts down. But they were on the first floor, and nobody knows what reason. They'll get somebody. If they think it's in help from the inside, they'll find that out.
You know what?
Or if I tell you what, me and you could go down there and walk through it, and we'll spend 3 days down there. We'll charge them like $50,000, and we'll find out the culprits and have them arrested.
If we're going to misappropriate funds, we need to misappropriate more than $50,000. I mean, my flights alone. Do you know it'd be funny? Those prison breakout things. If they just left a poster over the hole with Rita Hayworth on it, and then it could really be right. Shawshank Redemption.
And yeah, T-O, easy. You look at them and say, "What a bunch of goofs."
Yeah, man.